This is Patreon, right?
No, this is all of the YouTubes. Hello. People of the internet, I'll give you a moment to arrive, to say hi in the chat. Let us know what you're reading. I am slowing down with my TBR, like big time. I hit like a stride and I read 6 books in the first 2 days. And now I am hating what I'm reading, and okay, you're gonna hate me for it. Because I have been reading Exquisite Corpse for the longest time, and I fall asleep every single time I pick it up.
Oh, it's okay. I mean,
I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
But this is what I'm reading.
That's Matthew's favorite book, so I think you just apologize to him instead. I'm good on that book. I mean, it's a 5-star, but I'm not gonna like defend it, you know, like not like with Survivor or anything. You know?
There's no passion. It's just a 5-star.
So like if someone says they hate Exquisite Corpse, it's just like, okay, fine. If someone says they hate Survivor, bitch. I'm gonna choose violence.
I definitely don't hate it. I think it's beautiful. I just think it's boring. Like if you're talking about scooping someone's viscera out and I'm falling asleep, that's an issue.
Have you gotten to chapter 9?
I'm on chapter 8 right now.
Because like chapter 9, I don't know if it's chapter 8 or chapter 9, but one of them is like literally a better love story than Twilight and can be its own book.
Oh.
Just you wait.
Okay, well, hopefully I'm about to get to the point where it's picking up. But what are y'all reading? Let's go around and do introductions.
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
I'll go, I guess.
Okay.
I'm Courtney. My channel is just my name, Courtney Townell, and I am reading Halloween Fiend by C.V. Hunt right now. I like it. It's like we haven't gotten any like deep gory stuff, but there's definitely like some tension and dread. So we're definitely getting into it there. I only have like an hour left according to my Kindle though. So after that I will start For the Sake of by Judith Sonnet. So I'm hoping at least by the end of like the first sprint or into the next one, I'll definitely be like starting it this afternoon.
Hell yeah. Oh my God. Everyone on Sprints has been reading For the Sake of. I love to see it.
I feel so happy hearing that. Oh my God. I feel like I was like one of the first people to talk about Judith Sonnet on my channel, and the fact that everybody is like raving about her. She's a really good friend of mine, by the way. It's just like, damn, brings me joy.
See the success. Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm like a little scared, but I'm mostly pumped.
Oh, you'll be good. I think you can handle it. That's an issue. What about y'all? What are y'all reading?
I finished my reread of Cows, which is literally the most disgusting book I've ever read. I gave it 5 stars because of who I am as a person, and reading it again, I maintain that rating. But yeah, I haven't picked up anything new, but I'm currently planning on reading this book called Bones and All by Camille DeAngelis because they're turning it into a movie and the trailer just looks really good and I want to be in the know. So we're going to see what happens. That's me.
All right. Hi, everyone. So my name is Taya, and my channel name is in the parentheses, Taya's Turning Pages. I think I'm like the only one here that doesn't read like extreme horror or anything like that, but I'm dipping and dabbling my toes in like horror in general. So like we're baby steps. But I actually just finished The Taking of Jake Livingston, which is a YA horror book. This almost put me in a reading, so not great, but I will be starting The Mother Next Door by Tara Liskowski today. So Haley, I know that was your pick for Haileyween, so I am going to give this a read because I just feel like I need a good domestic thriller after reading that. So yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, the drama is so good. Like, yes. Everything that I was needing, like my Real Housewives fantasy, yes. I was living with that book.
See, well then I'm so excited for it then because I love me some Real Housewives, so cannot wait.
It is definitely that. More like Stepford Wives. But.
Ooh, okay. I cannot wait.
That has me sold. I haven't I haven't picked that up yet, but if you describe anything as Stepford Wives, like I'm basically there.
I think this man is trying to get in my house. It's not a random man, it's my man, but let me go. I think I accidentally locked it out. Y'all talk amongst yourselves.
I feel like we have to lead with that. Like, I know the man that's trying to break into my house.
Her little dog.
He's so cute. I'm like hoping that none of my animals come in here to crash
Yeah.
the party down here.
I still don't have any pets yet.
All is well.
Okay, cool.
Hello, Marcy. Welcome.
Hi, Marcy.
Ooh, Ashley's in here too.
Oh my gosh, there's too many people. I can't keep up. Finished all the prompts. Congrats.
Wow.
Finally going to start Girl on the Train. What a classic.
That's a throwback.
Mm-hmm.
Turn of the Key. Love that one. Halloween Fiend. Tyra was on Sprints last night reading Halloween Fiend, and she said that like nothing happened until the last 20 pages.
What? Wait, that's so hard to believe because Halloween Fiend, I believe, was written by C.V. Hunt. And this author wrote this other book called Ritualistic Human Sacrifice, which is literally not much happens in the first half, but like in the finale, it's a climax of like blood, jizz, shit. And I was just, it's a lot. It's a lot. I gave it 4 stars because duh.
I feel like there's like stuff happening, but it's more so like the psychological terror of this like creepy creature coming around and like eating animals that people are putting out. And I feel like people are really quick to write off like animal related horror books or things with like stuff happening to animals, and it's like instantly boring or like instantly not good. So I wonder too if that's part of it, where it's like there's bad stuff happening, but so far it's just been to like guinea pigs and like accidental deaths.
Oh, I don't like that. Not the guinea pigs. Guinea pigs, please. Ruth, what's up, bestie? Picking up the X-Hex. She just read No One Rides for Free, and we both gave it 5 stars. So
whoa, wait, you got the new Judith?
Yes.
Did you fucking love it? I fucking dude, that book fucking, I loved it so fucking much. I swear.
I am obsessed with that book. Like, I finished it and I felt like I needed to simultaneously share it with everyone I know and burn it.
No, dude, so you know how, dude, Haley, you know how like in the middle of that book there's like a warning, like it's just a book, dude. The scene after that, like the immediate scene after that, was so bad. I was like, how much more is this gonna go? I regret asking, but also I love it. For me, honestly.
It was sick, made me literally gag. And if you have siblings, I don't know if I would recommend that one for you, because it's a lot of incest.
Wait, don't say. I want people to be traumatized, dude.
That's the trigger warning, because that's a big one. Like, if incest is triggering for you, definitely don't go into that one. But if you can handle it, it is so important. I feel like it's a very important book. And a lot of extreme horror is just like, I'm an incel and how can I shock you? And I really fucking hate that. And I love when a woman who is a survivor can come out here and give us everything, leave it literally all on the page, and say something about it. Like, that is what we need. We have more for the sake of in the chat.
Yay.
I love how everyone's like reading her like most, like her second most graphic book, like straight off the bat. Like, y'all, warning, this book is one of her most like beast mode, you know?
Maybe my fault. I'm sorry. I love it.
For the sake of 2, though, that book is like the best.
That is, I feel like the second one takes it to a whole other level. Like, there's what I call the Squid Game element. Where
The budget. The budget.
It's not just like one small situation. It's like it goes all the way to the top, like that kind of thing.
I feel like I only like just started dabbling more into like the extreme horror stuff. So I need something good, because everything I've been reading is kind of mid lately, where it is just that like we're being extreme just to be extreme, and there's like nothing to it, and like that's never enough for me when I'm reading something. So when
like,
I think Haley, you had said it's like very
psychological.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, have you read Cows? Oh.
I just posted a 40-minute vlog on it. No, like, it's like a super short 200-page book. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to make a clickbaity title. I'm going to say it's the most disgusting book I've ever read. And it is, to this day, the most disgusting book I have ever read. But, like, when I read it the second time, I look at my footage, and there's, like, an hour and 20 minutes of raw footage. I had so much to say about this book, and it's just so good.
There's a lot to talk about with
Yeah.
Cows. And everybody's reading The Mother Next Door. And, oh my gosh, Rainey, you're crazy. And For the Sake of Two. Probably without Ashley, because Ashley and I both fell asleep on sprints last night. And another For the Sake of y'all.
I'm glad I won't be alone in this.
Yes, we get to trauma bond. That's what Ashley was doing on sprints on Friday. We both read it.
It's so short. I feel like she's going to finish it on the sprints.
Oh, yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, Cows is an intimidating one. Cows, to me, Cows is so much worse than anything else because it's less gore and more bodily function. And that I can't, no, I got a weak stomach.
But you like the troop though. Isn't that like really intense?
Oh God, wait, no, the Cows is like the troop times 5,000.
Yeah. The
Gotcha.
troop felt like small potatoes compared.
Literally, the tagline should be, if you thought the turtle scene was bad.
Oh,
No.
Like, if the turtle scene scarred you, oh my God, don't read Cows.
no. Rules for vanishing. Interesting. I don't think I know what that is. Oh my God. Everyone starting to think of. I love this.
I'm texting her. I'm gonna text her like right now, literally.
Aspen's reading Lovesick. Oh my God. You are gonna scream. I'm so excited.
Have you read Lovesick? I fucking love that book so much.
I read the first chapter. Spoiler alert. I'm doing an extreme horror try a chapter vlog where I literally just traumatize myself for 30 minutes.
Lovesick is so good, and it's gonna make you never want to eat fast food again. I'm not gonna say why, but that like the finale, the ending.
Maybe I need that. Maybe I'll be skinny. Maybe I'll read Lovesick. 90% done with Mother Next Door. Wonderful. Almost done with Woman Next Door. Gonna start When No One Is Watching.
I have that on my TBR. I'm gonna try to read that soon.
That one I have beef with. I'm sorry. It does something with the end that I'm like, please God, why?
I've heard people say that.
When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. Has like a purple house on the cover.
Oh yeah, I heard that one was advertised as a thriller, but it wasn't.
Like most books.
Yeah.
Not For the Sake of Two during church. I'm screaming.
I love Ashley. When she vlogged Survivor, she literally was like at church and she was holding it up like, hey.
Who else brings extreme horror to church? Yes, we're all happy. McKay and I are back together. Finished Summer I Died. DNFing the troop.
Oh.
Hi, Dawn.
The troop is
gone.
So.
I haven't read The Troop yet, but I did just read The Deep by Nick Cutter.
Ooh.
And it was like so gross in some parts that like I don't hear about it as much compared to The Troop. So I can only imagine just like how disgusting the parts in The Deep were that The Troop is gonna like make me barf because I felt like unsettled reading The Deep.
I will never be able to eat macaroni salad ever again. And I don't even think I mentioned this in my blog because I couldn't talk about it. But I was trying to eat macaroni salad while I was hearing about maggots in my little ears. And I was like, all I can see in front of me is maggots. This is not pasta. This is maggots.
Oh God. I hope that one day I can get like my like nausea together so I can like actually try to read extreme horror. But I don't know, y'all. I don't know.
Don't push yourself because I did make myself throw up reading The Ruins. It was so bad.
Oh
Wait, what is the most
understand.
extreme horror book you've read so far? But not like in the genre, but like the most traumatizing one you've read so far.
That's a great question. I feel like this might be controversial if you read it because it might not even be like that to people. But The Chalk Man by C.J. Tudor, that one like fucked me up. I'm not gonna lie. I know, like Haley, I know you read that one and you didn't like really care for it, right?
Really?
Yes, I know. I'm such a baby. I'm such a baby. I know, but like there's like the scene like with the church at, like that like really scarred me for some reason. And then towards the end, I just thought that was nasty. So, but like I said, I'm a baby, so
you're a psychological girl.
Yes, I love psychological horror. I just find that more scary, like because when your mind starts to fail you, that freaks me out because it's like it can hit so close to home, obviously. So that's what gets
me. The Patient. I feel like that would scare you so much, but it's definitely not gross. You're not going to have to worry about nausea, but it is very psychological.
Okay, I'm gonna look into that one then. Thank you.
I gave that one 5 stars. It was really good.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna read that. Thanks, guys.
Reading Gerald's Game. Love the movie. Wanted to see what's up with the book. I still need to watch that movie. The Holy Trinity.
4 stars.
Stalker obsessive behavior towards another person books. I mean, you. Iconic.
Perfect Days.
Ooh,
I forget the author.
I feel like I know what you're talking about. Does it have a suitcase on the cover?
Yes.
I want to read that one. There are so many. Last Mrs. Parrish, which is one of my favorite domestic thrillers of all time, has an obsessive plot line in there. I'm not going to give away who's obsessed with who, but that's there. Also, a little bit in Mother Next Door. There's some obsession there.
Oh, also, the book The Swap.
I love that.
Yeah.
Book. Yes, Robin
Harding. I love her so much. Those books are just like tea, like all the way through. They're just tea.
The arrangement by her, oh my god. The arrangement by Robin Harding literally stomps the arrangement by Kirsten Modglin to the ground.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Almost done with Just Like Mother. I love doll books. This one.
Wait, hold on. Can I just ask to anyone who's read that book? There's a doll on the cover. Are there like, do dolls play a major part in the book?
Oh yeah.
Do you recommend?
Yes, I love it.
Okay.
I haven't read it either. There's a house though down the street from me, and like the entire front yard is dolls. And so it's just like hundreds of dolls. The guy that owns the house calls them the girls because he also has like a fake witch burning on a stake. And so they're all facing the witch like with their arms up, and he lights up the pyre at night.
Wow, he is all in.
It's incredible.
I don't trust him.
I know, right? I feel like something is going on in my home. There's
like the girls.
Wow. Do not hire him to babysit your kids. Okay?
Trying to get through the It Girl. Yeah, that's a little bit of a slog. I liked it too, but it's long.
It looks so long. And I just don't hear the best things about Ruth Ware. Like, I want to give her a try, but everyone is always like, average. So,
I feel like she's consistent, but I feel like it's like consistently mid is her thing, where it's not like consistently incredible.
For me, I love Ruth Ware. I don't know what it is. Like, she just captures a cozy atmosphere for me. Like, I always want to read her books during this time of year where it's like edging into winter. We're not quite there, but we want to feel cozy. I'm trying to trick myself into believing that it is not 95 degrees. Like, that's when I pull out Miss Ruthie, and I love her for it.
So which one would you recommend, Haley, if you had to like say, like, out of all her books so far?
Oh, my favorite is the one that everyone gives 1 star. In a Dark, Dark Wood. It's about a hen party gone wrong. All these petty British women stuck in a glass house together on the countryside trying to celebrate this bride who is an absolute bridezilla, and the maid of honor like doesn't even like her anymore, so murder happens.
That sounds like that's up my alley, so I'm gonna add that too.
I did like that one. Yeah.
Over the top tea the entire time. Hey Kennedy, Finishing When the Reckoning Comes.
Yes, great book.
Left.
Great book. I love that one.
Is that the one with the really pretty cover that looks like a painting?
Yeah.
It's yeah. I'm trying to see that, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Really good book.
I'm in the church choir up on stage. That's so funny. Everyone else around her is like, John 3:16. And Ashley's like, blood, jizz, and shit. Just finished Petrified Women and starting The Last House on Needless Street. Y'all, we have some bangers in the chat. Just finished The Clown Hunt. Oh my gosh. I didn't even notice John Athan's Pub. It was mentioned. That is so cool. Little Easter egg. Should have started For the Sake of instead of Summer I Died. Yeah. I did not love Summer I Died. I'm sorry.
I did. But then let me just preface this by saying that I read that book when I wasn't an extreme horror fan, so like I was pretty new to it, so it seemed extreme to me. Like I don't know, if I read it now, maybe I won't be as affected, but back then I was like, damn.
I would love to hear what you think on a reread, because all of the violence happens off page.
Huh?
All the like violence and the graphic stuff that happens is like off page. Like he'll be like, oh, he went into the room and did such and such, fade to black.
Oh, I actually like that because the images you conjure up in your head are worse, and like he leaves you in a state of longing, and eventually you do find out what happens to that person, and it's bad. Haley is bad. It is really bad.
I kind of feel like that was the case with like Gone to See the Riverman, is that a lot of it does happen off the page, but then you kind of like come in the room and it's just horrific.
I love that one so much. I think that might be in my top 5 favorites of the year. Like, I don't know what it was about that book. It just hit for me. Something about it.
I think Gabby gave it like a really high rating too, and she never reads extreme horror, so it's like, welcome to the club. I hope she gets
the
it.
Atmosphere. It's like
it has
thick.
some horror.
It's just like,
yeah, it's very chilling. It's very psychological.
And that backstory, though, I was like, ugh.
The backstory is awful.
I know.
I read like True Crime by Samantha Kolesnik back to back with Gone to See the Riverman.
I love that one. I love both of them.
True Crime was like a 5-star for me all the way.
I love True Crime.
We Spread. Gotta read that one. Do love The Patient. Oh my God. The new one, No One Writes for Free, is insane. The For the Sake of and For the Sake of 2, you gotta read the second one. Those are a fave. The Clown Hunt is a fave. Something Akin to Revulsion is a short story collection, and the first story in the collection won the like gross out contest at what's it called, like Horror Con or something. It was crazy. You talking about the Holy Trinity? There it is, right there.
Wait, so authors can actually win awards for how gross their book is? Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
I went to this thing called, I think it was called Killer Con, where there's this thing called a gross out contest, where basically all these extreme horror authors come together and there's an open mic and they read their extreme horror short stories out loud. And the one who can make the audience have the most visceral reaction wins, and she won that contest. And that book, that short story is called Lol Cow, and it's the first short story in that book, and it is disgusting, and I loved it.
That's so cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Love both of them. Yeah, the show I do think is superior to the books with you. Very different story lines, though. Easy 5-star. Love to see it. Yes, Kennedy is also a psychological girly. Stephen King's Outsider yesterday and loved it. I have not been into Mr. King lately. I simply don't have the time. He's a long-winded.
Yes.
He has a deep blacklist too. But like The Outsider, I think I liked it to like the 50% mark because you think it's really like real life, like graphic detective sort of story, and then it turns into like a monster story. which I didn't like necessarily love. Like I like the monster books, but when you're like going in thinking one thing and then it's like hard left into the other, it's like not the best for me.
Speaking of going in thinking about one thing and a hard left to the other, has anyone seen the new Halloween movie?
Oh my God.
I'm hoping to see it soon.
I'm seeing it on Saturday and I'm dreading it. I'm literally dreading it.
Haley,
I know I'm gonna.
Haley, refund your tickets right now. Refund your tickets
My
right
now. My friend bought it, and we're like all going to his house to watch it. So I'm like,
oh no. Okay,
but the last one wasn't good either, right? Halloween Kills. That one wasn't that great.
Well, Halloween Kills was
garbage.
I thought it was fun. I liked it.
Halloween Kills was I liked the kills, but I didn't really like the storyline so much. But then again, in hindsight, for a Halloween movie that's a slasher movie, like, do I really need a good story? So I was kind of really forgiving of Halloween Kills after seeing this one. Let me just say this. This is called Halloween Ends, you know? This is supposed to be the final climactic event of the trilogy. So I was expecting a nonstop brawl between Laurie and Michael, like blood, guts, the best kills in the whole franchise, tons of collateral damage. It's not that movie. Let's just say that. Spoiler alert, it is not that movie at all.
I like loved the first one. My husband and I saw it in the theater and it was like the 10 p.m. showing. Everybody was like hollering, cheering the entire time. It was like probably the most fun movie experience I've ever had because it was so fucking good. And then the second one, like that point where Judy Greer is like, Dad's dead now, but he'll always be here with us. I was like, hang it up. We're done with this.
Yeah.
Like, the dialogue was so cringe, but I agree with the kills. And like the ending though left me a little like we kind of assume that Michael Myers is like human strength, but I don't love making it obvious in that way where it's like, how is he still going after this? Like, so I'll probably watch it because I do love Jamie Lee Curtis a whole lot.
I
But, like,
cannot wait to hear what y'all think. I know it's gonna be a rage party. I promise you, neither of you will like this movie. I promise you. Like, you know how Halloween Kills ends with that cliffhanger, and you think that the third one's gonna take place right after?
Barf. Wow. Speaking of a rage fest, I was talking to Haley about this the other day, but like wanting one thing and expecting the other. The Fun House by Matt Shaw is like the worst book I have read all year.
Mr. Matt Shaw can literally choke. I'm so sorry. If any of his friends and family are currently watching, go protect him.
I mean, I will. I normally I would defend him because I liked one book of his, but there was this instance where I posted a video, an extreme horror recommendations video, and the authors that I featured, I tagged some of them on my story to be like, okay, hey, here are some credits. I'm recommending these people. He was the only one that didn't thank me. The only one, and he viewed the story. So it's like, I'm kind of like turned off by that, and I don't want to read any of his shit ever fucking again. So, sorry, Matt, it's done between us. Dude.
He's the king of extreme horror, and nobody's going to tell him otherwise, and he just puts out a bunch of lazy shit. Like, I will always say he is the Kirsten Modulin of extreme horror. He puts out books that literally do nothing, but because it's his name, he thinks it means something.
I read his like author bio before I got started because The Fun House I got on Kindle Unlimited, and it sounded like McCamey Manor-esque, which is like my favorite rabbit hole every year this time of year. And it was like derelict house, horrors inside, like the whole vibe. I was pumped. And then I read his author bio and it was like, Matt Shaw's favorite author is himself because he's just that damn good. And I was like, no. And then I read it and I was like, this, it's just like, and none of it makes any sense. Like at one point they're like, the killer started broadcasting his murders into our homes. And it's like, how, who, what, when, where, like, was this allowed? How are people into this? And it's like a modern day. And like the entire like motive of the story is like internalized misogyny, which I was also just like, this wasn't it. And it was just, no, the kills weren't good. The funhouse scenes lasted like 10 seconds. And I was like, never again.
always giving
My
incest.
relationship with Mr. Shaw is done. Okay.
This is not a safe space for Matt Shaw. Starting pen pal. So fun.
Oh, and Haley, I meant to say that I didn't even realize like how how many incels like are writing like horror and stuff. When you talked about womb in your one video, I was just like watching it, just like jaw on the ground, like oh my gosh. But I mean, like not surprised. But still, it's just really crazy when you think about it. It's just like you can't come up with anything else, really.
Right? It just feels like every time something is defended as, oh, it was supposed to be offensive. It's
Right.
like, no, your characters are supposed to be offensive,
Right.
not
Right.
you as a human.
Mhm.
And all the incels in my comments love to tell me that I'm just being triggered by the book, so it's doing its job. It's like, no, I'm not triggered by the book. Honestly, the book's gore wasn't even that intense for me. I'm
Right.
triggered by the fact that these ugly ass men are out here being homophobic, racist pieces of shit, and no one is talking about it.
Exactly. That's why I'm like still bracing myself to read more Stephen King, because I only read The Long Walk and I enjoyed it, but like the random use of like the N-word, I was just like, okay, like I'm a little confused about where that came from, but like, all right, you know.
That's
so.
like also his like justification as like, I remember it was like the late night book club, they had read The Shining together or something, which like I do love that book, but like kind of going into how like Stephen King defends it, because it's like what's a horrifying person going to say, and it's like they're going to be like racist and awful, and it's like
exactly,
can't we convey it in a different way?
I read Shining just a few days ago. I have a vlog. That word comes out 5 times in one page.
Oh my god. Like there are other ways to show a character being a racist piece of shit without saying a word that you're literally not allowed to say, Mr. King.
Right. So I'm gonna have to brace myself. And the Shining is the next one I wanted to read by him. So great.
Oh
great.
Well, I don't remember that happening in Pet Cemetery, and I really like that book.
Okay. Is that that's the real like that one is like real like heavy on grief though, right? Because I think I saw bits of the movie and I was like, oh my goodness, what is going on?
The movie has the like Achilles snipping scene.
Right. Yes. Oh my gosh, it's all coming back.
House of Hollow, Horrid. Y'all are picking some good ass books. Stephen King is quantity over quality. Okay, Kirsten Modulin effect.
The thing is, so like I really do like a lot of Stephen King's books, but you have to like, it's like one every couple of years is quality, where it's like he does crank them out way too hard, and then you get like a gem. Like I just read 1922 for the Losers Club readathon that just happened, and that was really good. You're like, wow, he can actually write. It's like creepy, like a little psychological, and then you read another one and you're like, are you back on cocaine? What is happening here?
That man probably gets paid so much money. He's just cranking them out and living his best, which like honestly, can I believe him? No, I would do the same thing.
I don't really vibe with like late Stephen King nowadays, because like I don't know, back then when it was like It, Misery, Pet Cemetery, The Shining, like I feel like that was Stephen King. Nowadays it's like, okay, he's old and he's writing a lot of stuff, and no one's gonna say no to Stephen King, right? So he can just make his books as long-winded and as endless as possible. Like that new one, Fairy Tale, I'm not interested at all.
Hard pass. Based on the cover alone, I would not even read it. Like Stephen King or not, just like not a good cover.
If that is not the last Halloween movie and it's called Halloween Ends, they need to take a good look in the mirror.
Put it to bed,
why would
please.
you make Stop beating her. She's dead. Oh, Ruth. Ruth always with the hot take. She agrees.
Okay, so here's the thing, is like you start with one character, not to go on this rant again, but you start with one character. He's obsessed with the mayor's daughter. He wants to marry her for some reason we never know, because there's 0% character development. and then he dies like 20% in, and then we jump to the next character, and then we're with them, and then we jump back in time, but then we're back in the other time, and it's just like literally whiplash between characters and timelines to where it's just so convoluted and stupid. It is a dumb book.
One of
So
the
bad,
books that
Ruth.
I read from him was like completely normal up until the 40% mark when the dog just started talking. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, you just really ran out of ideas and was like, okay, the dog's gonna talk. Like, what?
For me, it was like the hard turn from like horror book to porn, because it was just such like a left field thing where it was like, oh, this is where we are now, is like secret relationship and then just like gratuitous sex, to where I was like, where am I? Like, why? And then you go back to just like mid horror.
Happened in the book with the dog. It was like the dog started talking, and then there was just horrifying bestiality sex scenes, and I'm like, this is not the place. Like, we were reading about murder, and now you're fucking your dog. Like, what is happening?
What book is this?
A Roll of the Dice.
By
Matt Shaw. It's my worst.
I'm not reading it.
No. I gave it.
I saw he had a book called Roe versus Wade, and I was like, I can only imagine the fucking shit that book is.
Somebody block me from reading
controversy surrounding that book that I saw on Twitter. That's all I'm gonna say.
Everybody better keep me away from that book. If I read that book, I will literally.
But Haley, that could be a great reading blog, though.
I literally will go crazy. I think one day when I read another incel book, my head will explode. Like,
yes.
I cannot keep doing this. Rainey is starting her journey into extreme horror. I knew you could handle it. I knew. Yeah, he's giving very much, no one wants to sleep with me, so I try to suck my own dick.
Melissa, read his author bio, and it literally says everything you need to know about it.
Hello, Scott. Welcome. Switching over to sci-fi horror. I love the Molly Southbourne series. I just read it for the readathon, completed the whole thing. It was phenomenal. Very sci-fi, science-y. Like, the whole thing is every time this girl bleeds, a new Molly is spawned, and it just like comes out of the air every time she bleeds. So like, she's a grown woman, so every time she gets her period, she's just fighting off clones all the time. And the more you get into the series, the more you find out like the science behind it. Like, the second one is very science fiction. I would say it's more sci-fi than horror. So that's my fave. Also like Blake Crouch a lot.
I would also say The Employees by Olga Raven. It's a teeny tiny book. It's like 120 pages, and every single page is an interview with employees on the spaceship, and only like a handful of the employees are human and the rest are like AI people, but you can't always tell who is human and who is not. And so then you kind of get this like ramping up of the robots are becoming more human while the humans are just becoming more depressed the longer they're in space.
Oh my gosh. It's
that. Awesome. It's so short. It's like you could read it in probably an hour, Haley. It's like amazing.
Ooh. I don't read any sci-fi horror, but I was recently watching, I think Riley Marie is this booktuber's name, and she was recommending horror books, and this sci-fi horror called The Luminous Dead sounds really interesting, and I'm actually tempted to read this instead during these sprints. It's about this woman who, I think they're on another planet, and she is doing this deep cave excavation in this vehicle, and her only source to the outside world is a man on the speakers. And the deeper she goes into the cave, the more she realizes that the man on the speakers is like, has nefarious shit in mind. And that sounds so interesting. Like, I am dead ass wanting to read this book in the sprints instead. Like, I am literally about to get the ebook right now.
That sounds exactly like Below by Laurel Hightower. I loved that book. It was an easy 5-star, and it's very similar. Like, a woman has car trouble, and so a trucker is like, oh, I'm gonna like drive with you on the road so you feel safe. Like, if anything happens to you, I'll be right here. And they get into an accident, and the guy is basically like in horrible danger. And she's like, okay, damn, this guy was so nice to me. Like, I have to at least go try to save him. It's like moral dilemma vibes. And so she's trying to walk down this embankment to save him. And all she has is a CB radio. But she doesn't know if the voice on the radio is actually him or if she's going crazy.
Okay.
That sounds really good.
You know, that these two books sound so much like this video game called The Suicide of Rachel Foster. Have you heard of that?
No.
Basically, it's like this woman inherits this hotel from her dead parents, and the hotel looks exactly like the hotel in The Shining, and she goes there alone, and she's snowed in, and the only reach that she has to the outside world is this man on the phone, and with each passing day, he gets like sketchier and sketchier, and I didn't play that, but I watched a playthrough on YouTube, and dude, not a single jump scare, but that was peak anxiety. Like that, watching that was like anxiety. Like you can watch it like it's a movie. Just watch a playthrough. I have literal goosebumps right now, just like thinking about that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
Wow. I would also say The Deep by Nick Cutter is a good sci-fi horror because it's like an underwater research lab where people are researching this like gelatinous substance that people think will be the cure for this pandemic that's happening up like above. And this guy is just living his life, and he gets this like transmission from his brother, and it's like, Luke, come home, we need you. And he's like, we, who the fuck is we, for starters? But he goes because his brother is doing all of this research, and it's so important, and they've lost communication with the research lab. So he goes to the bottom of the ocean, and so there's like science happening for this disease and this substance, but then everybody is just losing their minds. That it's really creepy and like very atmospheric because you're constantly aware of like the pressure and the fact that you're like 8 miles under the surface of the water.
What?
So
now
good.
I want to read that. Now I want to read that book.
Yeah, that sounds good too. Yeah. I don't read like obviously sci-fi horror books, but I do want to read I think it's called Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. I think it's like Titanic. I think they said it's like Titanic meets The Shining, and like I am so fascinated by like anything Titanic related. So, but everybody keeps talking about like it's really good, and there's like a little bit of romance in there. So I was like, oh, well then I might have to add it to my TBR.
I've heard great things about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Same. And if you're into Titanic books, avoid The Deep by Alma Katsu, because I also love Titanic stuff, and I DNF'd it like 60 pages.
Oh, no.
And it was
well, thank you for telling me.
Yes.
Who was the author of The Employee?
It's Olga Raven. It's Ravn.
Thank you. Yeah, this is turning into like a recommendation show. All right. Should we go into a sprinty sprint?
What do I read? Do I read Bones and All, or do I read The Luminous Deep? What am I to do with this life of mine?
Honestly, I want you to read The Luminous Deep because
I'm reading it. It's happening. It's happening.
Let's do a good 40-minute to start off.
Sounds good.
Okay, but math is hard.
Yes.
Maybe until 25?
Hello. How was everyone's first sprint?
Interesting.
Same.
So good. Haley, this book is amazing so far.
Oh, yay! I'm so glad you like it.
Eating it up.
I had to make myself a coffee because I don't know if anyone caught it, but I fell asleep again. This book is so boring. It's literally men talking. Like, if I wanted to do that, I would just listen to a podcast. Like,
I am 20% into mine, and I'm kind of obsessed. Okay, I ended up reading Bones and All After All, and apparently this is a cannibal romance.
Oh.
Okay, so basically this book is about this little girl named Marin who in the first scene is being babysat, and we learn that she, her babysitter holds her and she like murders the babysitter through cannibalism. She eats her. And the mom covers this all up. She accuses this satanic cult of having killed the babysitter. And then we learn that throughout her childhood, there have been other victims, like this one boy in a summer camp she was in, and this other boy that she was playing with in the basement somewhere. And basically, we cut to the future and see that her mom has left her, abandoned her, and she is trying to find her dad now. It's good. It is good. Like, it is like, I don't know. The vibes are what the vibes are supposed to be, and I am into it. I'm 20% in already, and it's pretty. Wow. Yeah.
I see. That's a lot for 20% to have already.
Yeah.
I only have. I'm like 78% into Halloween Fiend, so I have 17 minutes left of reading time. And like there are choices being made that are interesting at this point where I was like, and for what? Like, we don't know yet, but we'll see. And I haven't gotten to like the really like horrifying, like if there is a bloody, gruesome part yet. So I'm hoping we get there.
I believe the deep that we were talking about was the one by Nick Cutter.
Yes, definitely gory.
And I confused the titles, like The Luminous Dead. I said The Luminous Deep. Sorry.
Oh.
Who got confused.
Thanks for the check-in, Stacy. I am feeling a lot better. I got some medications switched around, changed some stuff in my routine, and it's really helping. So y'all were so sweet in the comments of that vlog. I was so scared to post it because I was like crying on the internet, but y'all were amazing. So thank you for that. Hello, Tyra. Back from brunch and the bookstore. Okay, period. Love finishing a paper and continuing the groomer. So good.
That book is amazing. 5 stars. 5 freaking stars.
Finished Just Like Mother. Absolutely wild. Yeah.
Wait, Haley, is it really that wild? Like, is it a mindfuck?
Yeah, I think it kind of is.
I don't know. Shit, it's like, okay, so Just Like Mother, The Deep, The Luminous Dead. My TBR in this live alone is expanding. I might need to blog them all at this point. I mean, just saying. I'm getting the audiobook of The Deep as we are speaking. After this.
I feel like The Deep, you won't be able to look at guinea pigs or bees the same ever again.
Oh no.
Oof.
Wait, hold on. Let me just.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I know what part you're at. Was it the barn scene?
Oh yeah, or the eyeball scene.
Oh yeah, you know what? I do think it's that.
Yeah.
It's
or the eating things off the floor scene.
You gotta like the gore if you're gonna be into extreme horror, and if it's not for you, that's okay.
Yeah.
Reading The Mother Next Door, 81%.
Yes. It is so reminiscent of Real Housewives, and like I'm eating it up so badly. Like her writing is like really good, like delicious. That's the word I would give it.
Readable, yes. Mm-hmm. I could not put it down. I was so surprised how fast I read that book. I always forget how fast I can read a domestic thriller because it's just like
they're just so like addicting. Like it's something about them. I don't know what these authors sprinkle in it, but it gets me every time.
It's just easy to read.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a twist?
Yes, there are multiple twists at the end.
I recommend, because I loved that other Alice Sweeney book called Sometimes I Lie. I loved that book. I love that
I
I did not know where that book was going, and for like 70%, I was like, and then that last 30% was just twist after twist after twist, and I was like, okay.
I need
Was
to
it
read
better
that.
than rock, paper, scissors?
No, well, sorry, what?
Was it better than rock, paper, scissors? Because I didn't like that.
I don't know.
one.
I mean, I feel like all of Alice Sweeney's books are. It's like rock, paper, scissors, his and hers, and this book are all like in the same 4/5 star range. And then Daisy Darker is just like down in the depths of awfulness. Yeah,
we agree.
Yeah.
Thank God. I just read that for September, and like that reveal, goofy. It was so
horrible.
goofy.
Trash.
Oh my God. I was like, this is Alice Sweeney? Like, and then I felt so bad because she said, I think on her Instagram that, or like in the author's note, that's her favorite book that she's ever written. And I was like, oh no.
How?
Sometimes I Lie is a masterpiece. It is so phenomenal. I wanted to like Daisy Darker so bad because I love weird twists like that. Like I love Mr. Sager and his out of pocket ass. I love it. There's something about it. I just could not get into Daisy Darker.
Okay, well, I have the opposite experience with you because for the first like 80%, I was so invested in Daisy Darker. And then when the huge thing happens, I was like, threw it at the wall. I was like, fuck this.
I felt like I wasted so much time. Like, and usually I'm all for campy thrillers. I said this before, like a lot of the times on my channel, I'm always in the minority. Like, I'm a survive the night apologist. Like, I love a good campy book. But that reveal, I was like, Miss Sweeney, come to the podium. We have to talk because what is this book?
I just want to talk to you.
Okay, but what did you think of House Across the Lake, though?
So I have not read that one yet. I have it on my TBR. It's literally like on my bookshelf up here, and I'm going to read it. But because everyone's like, it's not good, I'm so afraid to read it. But I love Survive the Night, so I don't know.
I loved it. I give it 5 stars.
Yes.
I think if you love Survive the Night, you will like that one. I love the direction that Riley Sager's going. Like, he's simply having fun.
Yep.
This one is for the girls. Like, the Taylor Swift references, the Jennifer Hillier references. Like, he just literally put everything in there that he thought was fun. And I said, I see you having a little fun time at your computer, just like typing. Like, that's what and I
meanwhile, the day the book came out, I did a full vlog. It's 30 minutes, and it's just me being an angry bitch the whole time. It's a spoiler vlog, and I was just a bitch like for 30 straight.
I loved everyone's like vlogs and Instagram like 2 days after that book came out because it was everybody's like, ooh, just getting started on the new Riley Sager, and then like a couple hours or like a day later, it's like, what is this? What the fuck is happening?
Everything. I just picture him typing on his laptop with Reputation, blasting in the speakers in his home. Like, that is what I live for. I have not read this one. Have you all?
No.
No romance today. Sorry. When did he finish? 4.5.
Yes.
So good. Ooh. I'm going to have to move that one on my TBR.
You haven't read it yet? Does it have a twist? I would say it has a few. I would say, yeah, it has a few. Yeah, towards like the end. I will preface and say, at least for me personally, like the first half of the book is a little bit slow burn. So like just keep that in mind. But once you get towards the middle of the end, that's when shit starts hitting the fan and you're like, ooh, nobody is safe. So yeah.
I'm interested.
Yes.
I'm interested.
Obsessed with Lovesick. I think this is going to be my next read. After I finish this, I really want to DNF. But like,
really just DNF that shit. Get to Lovesick now.
I have to finish her. Like, she is like the She's like a classic in the extreme horror genre, if there is such a thing.
No, I gave Exquisite Corpse 5 stars, but fuck Exquisite Corpse. Go read Lovesick. Like,
But that's why. Why is it a 5-star? Because she's giving nothing.
I blocked it, so watch that perhaps.
Girl, sit there and watch my ads. I'm not going to tell you. Yeah, the barn scene. The groomer literally gave me chills. It is so creepy.
Yeah, but like the groomer isn't as gory as For the Sake of, I don't think. Like the groomer reminded me of that movie Prisoners, which is pretty much very similar in plot. It was Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal. But yeah, I mean, the groomer was shockingly not as graphic as I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
I agree. That's why I didn't rate it as high. I think I give it 4 stars because I was wanting more from the gore. I think I
gave it 5 stars, but I gave it 5 stars because I just love the story and I just loved how everything unfolded and the tension and the fact that you don't know what's happening to a certain person for such a long time. And then, yeah, that's why I loved it. But Lovesick. That's all I can say.
So you like Lovesick better?
No, I gave Lovesick 4. I gave The Groomer 5, and I gave Am I Beautiful 3.75. That's my Jonathan so far.
You're gonna love Night of the Prowler.
I want to read that so bad.
It is just so much fun. It's like a slasher movie. It's so good.
I'm ready.
Sounds awesome.
Halfway through Wool, finding it hard to put down. Ooh, what's Wool about? Let us know. Who wrote The Housewife? I know Housemaid is by Frida McFadden. I don't know about Housewife.
Wait, Haley, what's the name of that book that you said that had the twist with the 2 women on the cover?
The twist with the 2 women?
What's it called?
The one from Mother Next Door?
Yeah, that one. Okay, I'm gonna get that one.
I do love that one.
Who's it by?
Tara something.
Sarah Liskowski. Here you go. Have it right here.
Thanks.
No problem.
This one is super underrated, I feel like.
I need to read that. I need to go through her entire like backlist. Like Lisa Jewell is on that list for me, so I'm like reading all her stuff because I'm obsessed with that woman. But I need to go through Alice Feeney's catalog.
I've never read Lisa Jewell. Where do I start?
So I haven't either.
Oh my God.
So I'll hear Haley out for sure. I would personally recommend, because this is what got me into her, is Then She Was Gone. That was the book that got me into it. Okay. And that's I think still to date like her most like popular and like notable, I think, but don't quote me on that.
I mean, I feel like that's a popular one, but I don't know that a lot of people love it. You can go in thinking that it's a thriller, and I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up with Lisa Jewell, because I hear a lot of people critiquing her, and for me, I like her because we know what's going on the entire time. It's not really a mystery. It's just like very uncomfortable.
Right. Ominous, creepy, like suspense a little bit. Yeah.
And you're finding out more like secrets and stuff, but it's not like, oh my God, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard. It's just like this unsettling feeling.
Right.
And I don't hear a lot of people talk about The House We Grew Up In. That's my favorite book by her. It's just about like a fucked up family. They have a lot of mental health issues. The matriarch of the family had hoarding disorder and she passes away. And so whole family gets together in her hoarding house and has to go through it. And like all the family drama and family secrets are coming up. And there's like abuse and weird justifications of abuse. There's a lot of trigger warnings. It's pretty dark, but there's no like mystery. It's just like, this is a fucked up family. Here, read about it.
I haven't heard of that one. I need to look into that. Like, now granted, I read the Then She Was Gone when it like first debuted back like in 2016, 17, 18. Like that's when I first got into thrillers, and like I will say like the twist for that one is a little bit wild. Like I feel like if you're really into thrillers and you read them a lot, you might be able to see it coming. But as someone that wasn't at that time, I was like, oh, this is like the best thing I've read since like, like since sliced bread or something like that. But I would definitely like still look into it. It is her most popular, so you might be like, but I would still give it a read because like it's one of her most notable books.
I need to confess something. I've also never read a Jennifer Hillier, Where do I start?
Me
I know.
neither. Me
Oh
neither.
my god, you're gonna be obsessed.
Yeah.
You have to read Jar of Hearts. McKay,
Jar
you're
of
going to
Hearts.
give Jar of Hearts 5 stars. You're going to give it 5 stars. If it's any less, I will literally eat my sock on a live show. Like, I will
Okay.
eat a full sock. I'm not even kidding. I will chop it up and eat it because that is how much I'm putting on the line. Like, it is so good. It is compulsively readable and it is dark. It's not gory horror dark, but it's like, oh, I cannot believe this just happened.
No, like this year I have read so many renowned thriller authors for the first time. Like this was the first time I read a Lucinda Berry book was this year, Saving Noah. Yeah.
I love that one.
That's my second
I
favorite
think-
book of the year so far. It is incredible.
I really want to read that one. I think my biggest confession is that I haven't read Karen Slaughter yet.
We're in the same boat, Courtney. I tried to read Girl Forgotten and Haley. Like it's a little slow. It's a little slow.
Girl Forgotten sucks. I'm sorry.
I like the TV show though. I did not read the book though.
Pieces of Her and Girl Forgotten, I'm just gonna like block it out of my mind and pretend that those don't exist because I love her standalones and the Grant County series. I've heard some problematic things about the Will Trent series. Granted, it was published in the late 90s, early 2000s. We have to consider that. But I don't know if that's something I would want to read now. I know a lot of people ask me to read it, but I'm kind of grappling with that. The Grant County series, I loved. Every single book is like police procedural. Like it reminds me of like watching NCIS New Orleans with my dad when I was a child.
Anyway, Courtney, so maybe try out Pretty Girls. I mean, I would recommend
I
Pretty
have
Girls
it.
to people who want to read Survivor but are too scared and kind of want to get a taste of what a book like that would be. Yeah.
It's also just so emotional. Like the reread that I did of Pretty Girls, I was sobbing from the first page. Like once you read the story and you get to know the characters, they are real to me. Like I fully believe these people exist in an alternate dimension.
Claire. Also, I will say there's like a twist in the middle of the book that I did not see coming for the life of me. I was just like jaw on the floor. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, go in blind. Don't listen to any reviews. Don't watch any vlogs.
Yeah. Like when I read that book, I didn't even know that it was about you know, the thing that Survivor has. I did not know that was in that book. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I have it, but I think like it seems long, and I have it on my Kindle. And sometimes when I read like long books on my Kindle, I'm like, where am I? When is it over? Like that's kind of how I felt every time I look at it.
I read it on my phone. It's gonna go by like this. Trust.
Okay.
What about False Witness? Is that because that's the only one that's really like?
Oh my god,
is that good?
I really liked it. I didn't have the same like visceral emotion that I got.
I did.
But a lot of it was like a little too real for me. Like some of the like mental health and addiction stuff, I deal with it in my work so much that it's like I can't read about it.
I didn't go into that book with super high expectations because I mean, how can you top Pretty Girls? But when I say that book was like 5 fucking stars, I loved it. Loved it. It was so incredible.
I'm gonna need to read it. Did you do a reading vlog on it? Because I'm gonna have to check out your reading vlogs when I read all these books, Mika. I
didn't do a vlog, but I will say that it's the best book I've ever read that has COVID in it.
Oh wow. Okay.
There are some books like 56 days, which are literally
that's on my TBR.
No. Listen, burn that book alive. Burn it.
Get rid
Go
of it.
outside and set that book on fire. It is garbage. But False Witness, good stuff.
All right.
While we're talking about Karen, Jennifer Hillier, Lisa Jewell, these are all amazing fall authors, especially Lisa Jewell. Like it's always giving like small town British vibes on the countryside. There's always a woman pulling a scarf around her neck on the screen. Like,
yes.
It is very vibey.
Yes. I would say too, even though it wasn't my favorite by her, so like don't jump me. But I will say Watching You by Lisa Jewell gives very much fall vibes, like very, very much. And I would say too that one has like a lot of like stalking vibes in it. It's nothing super intense, but it has little hints because literally everybody in this neighborhood is watching each other through their windows, just standing outside of people's houses and just literally looking in their house like, So, but it's not like, it's kind of predictable thriller. So I will just preface that.
I could not predict it. I love.
Oh, really?
That one. Yeah, that one is one of my favorite Lisa Jewells. I know I always have the unpopular opinion, but it is so good. If you're a nosy girl, watching you is for the nosy girls.
Yes.
To that comment, I have a full video specifically for that. Fall vibes.
Period.
Love that.
Yes. I was gonna say like Salem's Lot by Stephen King has the good like fall vibes. It's very much small town, vampire, creepy houses. But also like I like love watching all the classic horror movies in the fall. So like Rosemary's Baby and The Exorcist, very much good fall vibes and like classics.
I love it. Also Things We Do in the Dark.
Oh. So, 5 stars. That's on my favorites list for this year. I fucking love that book so much. Her writing, that was my first book by her, and I'm like obsessed with her now. It was so good.
Is this the one with the girl on the cover and it's blue?
Yes. A lot of people don't like it, but I love it.
I want to read that book.
Dead celebrity one.
I want to read that book, but Gabby gave it 1 star, so I'm like, what do I do with
my heart broke?
I know, me too. And then I'm raving about it, like 5 stars. I'm like, no, I'm gonna take it seriously, but that's fine. Haley,
are we gonna sprint soon? Because I need to eat.
Run through the most notable comments, but if you need to go snack, go snack.
Okay, I'll go in about 2 minutes.
Period. That's super disturbing.
Halloween candy over here.
Be on the gore.
Oh yes, I need this too. So give Rex, guys.
I would say The Patient is pretty psychological.
Patient. Let me write this down.
Gone to See the Riverman, a little bit.
Okay, because I want to read that.
Gone to See the Riverman is heavy gore to me.
Pen Pal by Nathan Arbach is not gory, but that book literally is the scariest book I've ever read in my entire life. Literally.
Wait, what?
Pen Pal by Nathan Arbach.
Oh, I just bought that.
Okay.
That book. Okay, maybe you won't find it scary, but that book, and when you find out, you will know. That book preys on very specific phobias of mine, and had I known that aspect was in the book, I don't think I would have read it. So you know me, I have no trigger warnings. I go in fresh. When I got to a certain scene in that book, I could not sleep that night. Like it affected me so hard. Yeah.
Oh.
For me, I think it'd be the Reddening by Adam Neville.
Ooh.
That book, it's like, because that has like everything to me, where there's like prisoners, there's cults, there's stalking, there is like, I don't think it's gory so much, but there is like a sacrificial sort of element that happens because of the cult. And so it's just like 8 different ways to be terrified, but it's not particularly gory.
I think I'm just a gore girl. I don't have good recs for this.
I have one, but it's like nonfiction because I'm trying to like read more nonfiction. But I would say this one. I recommend this to everybody. Okay. It's The Life and Crimes of Richard Ramirez, The Night Stalker. So you guys have probably seen the documentary on Netflix. So that is actually based off of this book, which came out in the 90s. And obviously there is like a bit of like graphic detail because like it does outline his crimes just like the documentary does. But like when I tell y'all, I could not like sleep because I was so fucking terrified after reading this because like this is pure human evil right here. So I would recommend this one if you're like really into nonfiction, and it is like long, but you go through it because it's just so like you just can't believe that there was a human being that walked this earth that did what he did. So
I actually agree with that. What scares me a lot isn't ghosts or haunted dolls or possessions. It's human horror.
Yes.
And that's what heavily populates extreme horror, which is why I love the genre so much because it just always feels so realistic.
Yes.
Especially Survivor. Like, I didn't know, I knew what snuff films were, but that book really told me about what the industry was like, and that scared my ass.
Same. Yeah.
That's like, even like movies for me, like the Rob Zombie's movies, because they're just so like gory, but like very like human and realistic. Yeah. All the movies that are like that, where it's not really like the ghosts or like
corpses. That was good.
Yes,
that was good.
I love that movie because it's so real. Or like The Strangers, the more like home
Yes.
invasion sort
Oh
of
my gosh,
ones.
I can't do home invasion stories, guys. I can't. It's so scary. So
Speaking of
freaking
home
scary.
invasions, have you seen Funny Games by Michael Haneke with
I
Naomi?
love that
Oh my
movie.
gosh! Oh my
Oh, I
god!
need to write that down.
It is
I
so
love
good.
invasions.
The
And
ending
it's
of that
funny
movie
because my
gave me
husband,
all the goosebumps.
yes, my
Haley
husband and
Berry,
I are very opposite.
I'm gonna BRB and get some food.
Yeah, soon. I would also say Lucinda Berry.
Lucinda
She's
Berry.
not
Okay.
really gory. She doesn't write a ton of gore. Like horrifying bodily things happen, but there's not heavy description.
Mm-hmm.
And Saving Noah, I feel like to me, I don't see it as disturbing because I literally studied like pedophilic disorder before I read about it in a fictional context. But that is really disturbing if you don't know anything about pedophilic disorder.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense. Also, The Perfect Child, very disturbing, creepy little girl. Literally, you think she's like sunshine, adorable, and then she starts, torturing animals.
I saw someone say that they like felt like if you really wanted the push to go there, you should read The Perfect Child. Because like the push was crazy. Like I still think about that book and that ending, like, wow, where's the epilogue? Where's the sequel? I know we're not gonna get it, but I'm like, where is it? But I'm like intrigued to read The Perfect Child because everyone's like, that book is wild.
Yeah, it's really good. I liked it more than The Push. I feel like The Push is more psychological,
right? Yeah.
low, and The Perfect Child just goes off. Like I started reading that and I could not put it down.
Okay, I'm gonna look into that.
I also thought Still Missing by Chevy Stevens.
Oh, that's my girl. I love me some Chevy Stevens.
So disturbing, like not gory, but there's like sexual assault and stuff. But
just like Dark Rose.
I was like literally checking my locks like 3 times before going to bed because it really just like shook me to the core. That one did.
Oh my gosh, I need to read that one.
Yeah.
The Mother Next Door, yes, that's the group book. It's very Housewives vibes. Going to start the groomer. Oh my gosh, everyone is reading extreme horror. I love it. I would not call the house we grew up in. Kyra has been struggling with the definition of camp, and we're trying to teach her. It's not over the top because camp is like, over the top little bit too much, but self-aware.
It's bad, but it's good. Like it's so bad that it's
Adam
good.
Caesar, like Adam Caesar, he is camp.
Fully. Clown in a Cornfield, very, very camp. House we grew up in, super realistic, super creeping vibes. Not camp. Do love The Butcher. Really, you can't go wrong with anything by Jennifer Hillier. So good. I've never read a Darcy Coates.
I have one of her books actually on my like spooky season TBR. It's called Hunted. It's like I think it's like a paranormal type of story. Basically, this woman is like a photographer and she ends up going in the woods and she's like taking nature pictures and then she ends up going missing. And so the police like end up like going in the woods to try to see if they can find any trace of her. They find her camera. They find like bizarre photos and everything like that. But like the case goes cold. And so her brother ends up like forming his own search party. And he's like, look, I'm going to find my sister because like I miss her, obviously. And I need to know what happened to her. So him and like this group go into the woods and there's something in there that is not going to let them, I guess, find her. And like the story takes off from there. So it might be a paranormal entity, but it also could be like a human figure. I'm not 100% sure, but like that's the vibe that I got when I read the synopsis.
That sounds like a better version of The Last to Vanish by Megan Miranda.
Haven't heard good things about it.
The same plot, but Last to Vanish was so boring. Oh my goodness, y'all are blowing up the chat. Oh yeah, so good.
My faves.
Show the original The Thing. Oh my gosh, that's so fun. Favorite all-time thrillers? For me, it's got to be Pretty Girls. Also love Jar of Hearts and anything by Jennifer Hillier, really.
My favorites, they're like it's like underrated. Luisa Luna, she has 3 books out right now. There's The Janes and Two Girls Down. I think Two Girls Down is the first one, and it's a detective series, but it's like a female lead detective, and she's just like super badass. She's always like fighting and kicking ass in all of them. And then like Two Girls Down is about like 2 girls who are abducted from a mall parking lot, and she's finding them. The second one is maybe about like a human trafficking sort of ring where they're finding Janes in the desert, and the lead I guess she's not really a detective, she's more of like a bounty hunter of sorts, or she's just really good at tracking people down. And then the third one, she goes to this town and there's like a bunch of like white supremacists there, and she's trying to like take down their web, but she's also getting targeted because she's like trying to like call out their bullshit in the middle of trying to find this person. They're awesome.
That sounds like a really good series.
So good.
Yeah.
I just added it to my TBR.
That sounds really good.
I read all 3 of them. I've read in like 24 hours because they're just super fast paced. There's like, it's not super gory, but definitely you're scared for her the whole time. And just like the plot is very intriguing. And there's like a sort of X-Files, like SVU sort of romance between the 2 people going on, where it's like, will they, won't they? Like, I love them.
I'm gonna have to read it now. Mine are very basic, but No Exit by Taylor Adams. I'm sorry, that's like creme de la creme for me. Like, who is seeing No Exit? I don't know, nobody. But I love that book, and I also love Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica. I just still think about that story, and I'm like, the ride that my mind went on or reading that book and getting to the end, I was just like, how does someone come up with this plot? I don't get it. I really don't.
I love that book. I think it's so underrated. The scene at the gynecologist, it literally made me shake. Like, that is such a commonly scary, like everyday experience for women. And the fact that she made it into almost horror in the book, I was like, I feel seen. Like, I'm also scared.
She did so many just like very clever and just like the most, not like mundane, but just like you said, Haley, like everyday life experiences for women, and just made it so horrifying and really reiterated to the reader, like, this is how women have to navigate in the world. Like, y'all need to understand this is how it is for us. So that book, like, loved it. And I think it's being turned into like a show or a movie or something like that. I think.
My gosh, that would be amazing.
I hope it is.
I really want to watch The Watcher.
Same.
My mom just watched it, and she said the last episode made her so mad. She's like, something was ambiguous, and she hates that. She needs it all spelled out. So she was like, there's no closure. She's like texting me the cussing face emoji. With like, oh my gosh, she's mad. Okay, but I liked it. This is my theater.
You're like, I hear you, but
it was abrupt, but to me it was like, that's where we're leaving you. It wasn't lazy, I didn't think. I love this series. Love Holly Jackson.
I need to read that. I have the first book on my bookshelf and I've had it for a year, but every time I see it, I just like don't want to pick it up. But like, I do want to read it. I can't make it make sense.
I mean, it's very YA. That's what I will say. It reads YA, but of the YA thrillers that I've read, it's by far, well, I would say I like Tiffany D. Jackson more. I think she goes that extra step.
Right.
But AGGGTM is wonderful. This is not sad. Don't put a sad face. You finished 3 books. That's an accomplishment.
Yes.
Ooh, I like cozy horror.
Was it you, Haley, once that you were like, Darcy Coates is giving boring? Like, I feel like that was you.
I think I said that when I was in Barnes and Noble. Like, I always want to buy one of her books, but I look at them and I read them and I'm like, it just is getting boring. Like, I feel like it would be boring. I don't know. I've never had an experience, so this is all conjecture, but it just reads boring.
A lot of historical things, or am I confusing her?
I think she does
Like
a lot
some
of
of
like
her stuff seems
paranormal. She does like a lot of paranormal stuff. I want to say, gosh, I can't think of the name of the book, but there's one that I know a lot of Darcy Coates fans like recommend a lot, and it's like something with like the haunting of like Lee something. I think that's like her like one of her more like favored books. But yeah, she does a lot of paranormal stuff.
It's always the haunting of XYZ, the
Mhm.
taking of XYZ.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, are we just copy pasting? Like, what's happening? I love this book. I love everything by A.R. Torre. That's what we haven't talked about yet. She is phenomenal. Little pop thrillers, like popcorn thrillers, as people call them. She is the queen. Love the Girl in 6E series. If you're a fan of smut meets good for her serial killer books.
Oh,
yes.
Well, there we go. I'm going to have to add that. I just finished the first book in the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abby for this readathon, Haley. And listen, I'm hooked now. I was really like, I'm not going to like this. It's going to be a 2 out of my comfort zone. Why am I eating it up? Like,
it's Miss Lana. She's just the most sympathetic character, even though she's like low-key a horrible person.
Yes.
For some reason, I just want to root for her.
Right. Like I can't not stand, you know?
I am so curious about it because I just hear everybody being like, the first book, why do people like this? Why are they into it? And then once it gets deeper, like I've watched so many vlogs of people talking about the Mindfuck series at this point, and I just like can't tell if I can like let myself go enough to have fun reading it, because that's kind of what it sounds like, where you have to like forgive some things, like the S.T. Abby name. I'm like, okay.
It's a lot of suspending disbelief, Courtney. Like I will say that, but like if you really enjoy like Criminal Minds, but like Criminal Minds and like smut and like I'm trying to think, there's like another show and like Dexter.
Ooh, yeah.
But like with a good for her spin on it, then like it's going to be entertaining.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm getting her because they have like a full like book bind up, don't they?
Yes. Oh my god, I want that so bad. I think the first book for me that like got me addicted to reading was Gone Girl, and I read it way too young. I think I was maybe 11. And I was reading Gone Girl and I literally was shook. I was like, wait, I did not know that you could read horror movies because all right, Mr. Garbage Disposal in the back. Okay, my housewife husband is literally going off in the kitchen right now. So,
love it.
Gone Girl, though, she is the blueprint. She is phenomenal.
I need to read that. I love the movie, just have not read the book yet, but I need to.
You know, I've heard if you see the movie first, you're not going to like the book.
No.
I know. It's very slow.
I love the book, though.
Me too. The writing is just gorgeous. Like, you cannot replicate that kind of thriller writing. I'm going to need Miss Gillian to come out with another book, stat.
Yeah. She really changed the game with that. Like, people were talking about just, like, I think there's articles on, like, basically how it's the blueprint for, like, thrillers nowadays. And I'm like, imagine being that girl. Like, just imagine. Like,
she's just sitting there collecting her checks. Like, she doesn't need to do anything.
Nothing else. Nope.
I do want her to write another book ASAP, though, because, like, all of them are just so good. And I'm sorry, can you guys hear me okay? Because my AirPods just died.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we can hear you good. I'm sure I'm having trouble being picked up since there's all of this going on. Yes, For the Sake of is by Judith Sonnet. Ordered my first Judith Sonnet on Amazon. Yay, we love to see it. Oh my gosh, Kennedy, I'm so glad you sent this. The Baby Shower is phenomenal.
Yes.
It's a very, very similar thing to Mary Kubica, where there's like everyday things, especially like female friendship, toxic female friendship, gets like a horror spin on it.
I ordered that book because of you. I know you mentioned it in one of your vlogs, and I was like, add to cart. So that's on my TBR.
At the perfect time. Like, I didn't even request the arc. They just sent it to me. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I'll try this out. And I had just had like a horrible friend breakup, and it's
Mhm.
about toxic female friendship. And I was like, yeah, this is it.
Mhm.
Like, I felt so seen in that book. Favorite thriller movie? I don't know that I actually like thriller movies. I like horror movies.
Mhm.
I think I just like that new like Ben Affleck Ana de Armas movie. It's like Deep Water, Dark Water.
Oh, I don't watch movies. I'm not a movie girl. So
Mhm.
I have like no attention span for them somehow either, but
Yeah.
that's just like the most recent one we watched, and it was good.
My favorite is Hush. It's a psychological thriller on Netflix. Like my boyfriend and I watch that like movie a lot. It's just so good. It's so scary just because of like how the main character is like deaf. So like being secluded in the woods and then you have that going on, like, oh, that movie just freaks me out, but it's so good.
I also really like that one.
Yes.
Cameron literally just said top 5 favorite movies of all time.
Thank you, Cameron. You get it.
Finish The Silent Patient. Yes. Okay. Now you're running to Order the Maidens. Don't expect the same level because The Maidens was not giving. She was giving an atmosphere, but not really in plot.
Mhm.
The Silent Patient had me hooked from page 1. The Maidens took a little bit to get through. Oh my God, y'all. I don't know if I'm ever going to release what I'm writing. What I wrote was simply fueled by rage at the extreme horror community. So who knows? It might be actual trash. Gonna start The Mother Next Door. Yes, complete that TBR.
Mm-hmm. I don't have any desire, honestly, to write a book. Like, again, was telling my boyfriend that. I was like, I just want to read them. I don't want to write them. Like, I also can't handle, like I can handle valid critique, but, like, some people get nasty on Goodreads, okay? They get real filthy, and I can't handle that.
I went to school, like, my degree is in fiction writing, and, like, do I write? Hardly ever. But, like, I want to, but like the progress is slow going on my like book that I'm working on. It is like glacial pace. It's just so slow.
Me, I will not write for a week and then I'll stay up until 3 a.m. and write 5,000 words. And I'm like, oh, okay. No,
yes.
Only finished 1.5 books. Girl, we get it. And be enough to another doesn't count. You are still here. You're participating. Reading. This is my IRL bestie. She's one of my friends. I'm just happy you're participating, Dan. Oh my gosh. Yes. I loved it. Personally, I was in tears watching this movie. But I do love the book. So I'm not sure if it just like captured what I pictured in my head and that's why it was emotional. Or if it was actually that good. The Maidens gave nothing. You are so sweet. I love you, Kennedy. Go celebrate Mom. We love to see it.
Yes. I can't believe I'm almost about to finish my 3rd book for this thing. So I read Goddess of Filth, which was fucking awesome. And then I read like Eric LaRocca, his like new short story collection where it's like things have gotten worse since we last spoke. And like, I can't get on board the Eric LaRocca train.
Oh, no. We're going to have beef because I love Eric LaRocca.
I like their stories to like a point, but then like I get to like a part in the book where, or like the story where like, maybe it is like the writer brain or something, but like you could feel him in it so hard. So there was one story where everyone is swiping stuff. It's like she swiped the key, she swiped this, she swiped that. Like everybody is swiping. And I did like the X-ray search on my Kindle, and it was like the word swipe, swiping, swiped was in the book like literally 35 times.
Oh my gosh.
And then just like other things where I'm like, this sounds cool, but the like logistics just don't always track for me.
Right.
And in The House Across the Lake, the word bourbon is in it 71 times.
Oh my God. Y'all in your search terms. You can take your Kindles away.
I got to, and then suddenly was even worse than swipe. Suddenly realized, suddenly this. It was 55, 60 times.
Wow.
See, this is why I'm like, I'm never releasing my book because y'all are gonna drag.
Yes, exactly.
Hey,
Nope.
Haley, I also wrote a book last year, NaNoWriMo. Let's both get dragged, okay?
I'm so scared.
Let's both get fucking dragged. What were we talking about while I was gone? I had some pasta.
We had
Sounds
a
good.
lot to talk about. We covered a lot of thriller moments, our favorite
Mhm.
all-time thrillers. And now here's your moment, just in time for you. Convince Greta to read Cows.
I don't know if I'd want to put anyone through that intentionally. If you are in the mood for extreme horror and your current extreme horror reads are boring and you want something that's genuinely very complex and thought-provoking, I would read Cows.
That's a good pitch. That's
But
actually
if animal abuse is like a bridge too far for you, maybe just skip it, honestly, you know.
I would say that animal abuse in cows is very like, it would never happen. It's not like someone's just running up and killing a cow. Like,
You never know. You never know. There are some sick people in the world, Haley.
they're
True.
extreme. Like, I think the reason why I didn't have an issue with the animal abuse in cows is because it was just like, no one will ever do this. And if they are literally the most depraved human being on earth. So
Right.
The Adult by Alison S. Locke. Have I heard of it?
Hi. Oh wow, that I love The Adults, but that's not like a thriller horror. But it was like when Notes on Your Sudden Disappearance came out, I like literally went through the roof because I loved that book so much, and it had been, I think I read it 10 years ago when it first came out, and she's just been radio silent ever since, and she's not on social media. There's no way of like keeping track of her. It's not like Gillian Flynn where you could see she's doing stuff. It's just not writing books that are coming out. Allison Espach just like dies between books. And so when like Notes on Your Sudden Disappearance came out, I was so excited. I love her.
That book. I forgot that I even read that this year, but it was such an easy 5-star, like phenomenally done.
Yes, as soon as it was over.
Yeah, that reminds me so much of Donna Tartt. Like, I'm fully convinced that she lives in a cave and only comes out every
Ooh, tea.
Let me just say that I read that book and I have thoughts on that book, but my Goodreads review is blank because when I looked it up, there's like super like huge problematic stuff about that book, and I just did not want to be associated with it. So yeah.
Oh my god, really? I just bought it.
Like what?
The thing that makes it problematic is a massive spoiler. So just know that going in. Yeah.
Be prepared next month for me to read because I was gonna read it in November. So
yeah, just text me, Haley. I'll tell you what my actual rating is because on Goodreads it's blank. Yeah.
This is so valid. I don't know. I don't know if it's just like the sisterhood coming through the pages, but I will read it like. I'm sorry. I can't.
Wait, there are some male authors that get it right, a la J.F. Gonzalez. I will say that.
It's very, very rare for a man to write a female character that is feeling empowering. A lot of times it feels like pandering when a male author or a male identifying author writes a female character. But when it's from a woman who's gone through it, like, we're not talking about how her tits are bouncing as she's running.
Exactly. Thank you.
No one's ever going to think about that if they're in trauma. The only person that would ever think about that is Matt Shaw.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's kind of funny though, because like, so in Halloween Fiend, I'm getting that. I think C.V. Hunt is a woman writing a male perspective, and so like the opposite is also true, where it's like the male main character is just like constantly like looking at cleavage. Like she bends over and he's looking at her cleavage. He walks away and he's like staring at her butt, and I'm like,
No,
I
dude,
don't want to read
literally,
the same thing.
C.V. Hunt, I Googled her, and based on what I gathered from Google, this is a woman who goes by she, her, and she, like, writes from the point of view of men. Like, I was so shocked to find out that Ritualistic Human Sacrifice, her other book, was written by a woman, because we follow from the first POV of a man, and he is, like, the most flagrantly misogynistic piece of shit that I have read from in a long time. I was like, this is probably, I was like thinking, am I reading some disgusting self-insert, like Dead Inside Chandler Morris? When I found out this was a woman, I was like, what? What?
Jennifer Hillier kind of does that too with her male POVs. Like, she will put the misogyny in there, but it's very like self-aware, like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We all know a guy like this.
Right. And that's so interesting because, like, in the romance genre, it's all about who can be the best book boyfriend, who can really make the ladies swoon. But, like, then you have, like, some books where, like, the authors will, like, really play into, like, that misogyny and, like, that possessiveness in the first half. And then, like, towards the end, you're like, okay, I guess they had a good redemption arc. So it's just interesting how, like, different genres will even, like, influence that too.
Oh, yeah. The Deal.
Okay, like, listen.
The Score. I mean, The Score for me.
Okay, first of all, I want to burn that book. I have a whole video in the works already that I'm like going to talk about, like, the entire Off Campus series, because, like, I need Elle Kennedy to come to the podium as well. She's another one I need her to step up because we got to.
Wait, oh my God, is she the one who wrote that book, like Him and Us and those hockey books?
She wrote the hockey queen.
Yes. Yep. She has like all these series.
I will say that those two books are some of the best smut I have like ever read.
Oh yeah.
That's why I stand.
Yes.
That is why I stand. It is simply for the spice. The plot, I will skim.
Listen, The Score was a hot mess express. I was like, this is what the girlies are hyping up a book talk. Oh,
I love The Score.
Really?
For the smut only. I'm a Dean girl. Okay, I love a man horror. Like,
I do too, but he was just insufferable. I could not deal with it. But like the smut was phenomenal. But like his character, I was like, Dean, come on.
Give me a himbo. That's all.
Okay, speaking of like romance on TikTok, has anyone read Den of Vipers?
Oh my God.
No, I have not yet.
Okay, that book is like, everybody hated it so much. So I was like, I did a vlog thinking that I was going to shit on it and give it 1 star. I gave it, guess what I gave it? Dude. Fucking star.
Every live I've ever seen you on, you find a way to weasel in Den of Vipers.
No, literally. It is 600 pages of just like wall-to-wall smut. And there's like one scene in specific with a knife and blood play that I was just like, this is beautiful.
You said blood play? I'm down for that. This is random. Anyone like the perspective of animals? Yes, I really like that. I think
the Katrina Ward book.
Yeah, the Last House. The Blood.
Yes.
Yeah. Danny, leave the chat. Just kidding, but no. House Across the Lake was iconic to me.
Danny, watch my vlog. We will have solidarity, a solidarity moment together. Yeah.
This is interesting. I have never DNF'd a book because of this. I feel like I'm literally a somatic therapist. Like, I know how to regulate myself if I get triggered. Mm-hmm. But the one book that had me closest to that feeling was I Let You Go, I think it's called, by Claire McIntosh. There is a scene with a car accident, and I got into like a horrible car accident that really scarred me. So that's been the closest moment where I was like, this is getting a little too real for me.
Mm-hmm. The closest one that got to me was probably Pen Pal by Daphne Arbach, but the phobia thing didn't happen until the very end. So if it had happened earlier on, I maybe would have stopped reading it. But since I was already like 95% in, I was like, okay, here we are. Let's do this. You know.
For me, it's like reading it feels less triggering than like seeing it. And so like The Employees by Olga Raven that I was talking about, mine is trypophobia, like the tiny holes.
Yes.
And that is like one of the like symptoms or something that the non-human people experience, is just like thinking about skin pores And like the description, like I think everybody's trypophobia stems from the exact same picture that they saw on the internet in like
yes.
the early 2000s.
Is this the picture
And
that's
so, like,
the
the
lotus flower on
Oh
someone's
my
hand?
god. Oh my god, please.
The nipple.
I'm like jumping out of my skin.
It was the nipple infestation picture that like,
Oh my god.
have you seen it?
No.
That one I have not seen, but I saw the one that you talked about, Mikay. I saw that one.
This one, it was like all over LiveJournal, and it was like, watch out, like nipple infestation, wash your bras. It was like this whole thing, but it's the lotus seed pod on somebody's nipple. And I was like, I saw it when I was like 9 or 10, thought it was real life, and it's just like scarred me for forever. And like the description of the holes was so similar. Like I didn't DNF it, obviously. I like really liked it, but I was reading it just like full goosebumps. Like, ugh.
Well, thank you, Courtney, for adding that now to my list. So I will not be moving.
The manga Shiver by Junji Ito, there's a whole entire short story that is literally just that.
Ooh,
I saw that. Like, I haven't read any of them, but like,
I can't.
so like, there's like hair stuff and like the trypophobia thing in that one.
Yeah, I can't read or watch stuff like that. Usually I'm like terrified of spiders, so I refuse to read anything that has like that as a central focus. I wanted to read Cackle by Rachel Harrison, I think, but people keep saying there's like spiders and like talks of spiders in that. So I decided to not even go through with that. But I also don't like books or like movies that have to deal with like sex trafficking and things like that. Like that is just too like much for me. So I can't deal with any of that.
I feel the same way. I think for me, it depends on the angle. Like dark romance around sex trafficking, it's going to be a no. Like, why are we even attempting to romanticize this? Even if you're self-aware and you know that it's toxic, like to me, that's just disgusting.
I'm surprised Colleen Hoover hasn't done that yet.
Ooh, in her backlist, maybe in her drafts on her laptop somewhere, there's something.
She's thought about it.
A burner Wattpad account.
There was one dark romance that had sex trafficking that I actually liked, but it wasn't the skeevy type. It was like someone was being sex trafficked and someone who went undercover to try to save him, and that's the guy who saved him was the love interest. So like I feel like they could make it work somehow, but like if it was like someone who bought the person, no.
Yeah, mafia romance, basically.
Not, like Tears of Tess, that book can literally burn. I literally hate that book so much. Why the whole time is the main character like, I can't believe I got sex trafficked. I'm not a slut. Huh?
Wait, what makes Tears of Tess so triggering? Because Kat and Daria did that for their book club, and they both DNF'd it because it was like too much. Like, what is the issue with that book?
The main character is insufferable. She is like I'm not like other girls, pick me to the max. Like, I have never read a more annoying main character. She oscillates between like, I hate all other women because I'm so much better than them and I'm not a slut and blah, 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 to like shaming herself and hating herself for like wanting to have sex with her fiance. And I'm like, which is it? We got to pick a lane, Miss Girl, because you're getting confused. So true. The only people that get a pass, JF Gonzalez, John Ethan. I love the main character in Night of the Prowler. She is like grungy 90s teen angst queen. I loved following her perspective.
Oh, wait. Night of the Prowler is from a woman's point of view?
Yes. So it oscillates between the girl in the convenience shop and she like shows up for her night shift and she realizes she has to do the whole thing alone. So it's just like creepy and tense. Even when the serial killer's not there, you're just like waiting for every customer to literally kill her. And then the other perspective is from the killer. So I liked that because it was like tense suspense, crazy gore. Tense suspense, crazy gore. Like back and forth and back and forth. It was so good.
That sounds so good.
I love this book. It is so underrated. It's very like chick lit mom beach book. But I thought it was so fun.
Sometimes those hit. Like I like Leanne Moriarty's books sometimes. Like
It's very much that. Like a bunch of moms gossiping around. There's like a weird romance. Somehow, I love it.
Do you recommend 9 Perfect Strangers?
That one's kind of a trip. I didn't love it.
I didn't love it either. I do like Big Little Lies was good, and The Husband's Secrets was really good. And like 9 Perfect Strangers, I think I liked better than the show that they made out of it, at least. But I just like don't like watching Nicole Kidman do an American accent. It like that is triggering for me.
I'm the opposite. I loved the show. The book, I don't know. It just felt like an acid trip to me. Like it was
I think I liked that the book, The Retreat, was silent. And so like everything, like all the tension is like perceived or kind of like happening, like, oh, I hope we don't get caught, like that sort of thing. So I did like that aspect versus the show.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. I don't get why anyone likes anything by Peter Swanson.
See?
I have not like one sentence.
I mean, okay, I am not going to defend him because he wrote 9 Lives, and if anyone knows anything about me, if anyone saw the performance I exhibited on Gabby's live show, which people complained about in the comment section.
Iconic.
It's free in my mind. Yes, Den of Vipers.
Wait, do we not like Riley Sager? Do we not like how he writes his female characters? I've only read Survive the Night, and like I know a lot of people did not like Charlie. I know, I get it.
I love her.
I liked Charlie a lot too.
I feel when I reviewed Survive the Night, I had to get drunk. That is a drunk review on my channel. That is
about Riley Sager, and I don't know Riley Sager's sexuality, so I'm not trying to assume anything, whatever. But Riley Sager gives me a gay man who is the most female ally we could ever ask for, but it's just like a little out of touch. You know what I mean?
Like, yes.
You don't maybe like women, so you don't know the things that maybe a woman would think. But you are here for us, and I love you for it, Mr.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that ending pissed me off. I'm sorry. I did not like that.
See that a woman would never write that, but rather it's just like
or the scene in House Across the Lake when she's all alone in her house and a man walks into her property and the first thing she thinks of is he's so hot. Bitch, if a man walked into my property, I'd be like, who the fuck?
Exactly.
I would immediately go for my pepper spray and be like, get away. What are you doing?
Like, oh, a handsome stranger visiting me at this hour?
And the way she's always flirting. Like Riley Sager's main character is always be flirting. Could never be me. I am the most deadpan human being. Any man talks to me, you are gonna think I'm the least interesting woman alive.
Resting bitch face.
Always activated. I would literally think it was a prank.
It's the let's sprint for me.
You called us out.
We're just some Gavin girls.
Yeah, this one time, Haley and I did a sprint together. It was 4 hours long, and there were 30 minutes of reading. The rest of it was a deeply private conversation that we should have had in private, that we had in total public on her channel, that anyone could have walked in on.
Yeah, I think 5 people witnessed the entire conversation. Like we only had 5 people in the chat, and immediately after I like stopped the live, private. Immediately. There
was so much that both of us revealed.
We had a trauma dump discussion on live.
It happens.
Came out. Names were named.
3 a.m. for my time. So I'm sitting here in the middle of the night. I had graduation from grad school the next day. I was in my feelings. It was time. And we were just sitting there gabbing. We named names. We talked shit on the live.
But it was cathartic, was it not?
Oh my God, it was amazing.
And that's what matters. It's all that matters.
Nobody else except for the queens. I did send the link to my queens on Patreon. They're the only ones that get our unfiltered thoughts because they're never going to cancel us. All right. Let's sprint.
Yes.
On that note.
I know. I think I'm going to get to the for the sake of in this one.
Oh my gosh, yes. Let's do a good 30-minute sprint. I have to go at 2:30, but I will be back tonight. So we're going to take
What
a break.
time?
So that will be an hour from now. I'm going to end this. Any one of you who is free is welcome to come back when I get on later tonight. But I just need to go get my nails done.
I feel that.
What time at night?
Oh, I don't know. Whenever I feel the pull.
Okay, if I'm awake, send the link to the group chat, okay?
Period. Will do.
Yes.
We're going to the OO just to make it easy for me. Hello, hello. Y'all, I basically just DNF'd Exquisite Corpse. I skimmed the last 40 pages, but oof, it was giving Ashley Flowers to me. Very much oratory. You could tell the true case that inspired the book, and all the critiques that people are saying about Dahmer, the show, more than valid when you apply it to Exquisite Corpse. So I do respect it. I respect that it's a classic in the genre. So I gave it 2 stars just for the respect. But it's definitely not for me.
Lovesick though.
Lovesick.
Okay, I had a very different reading experience. My book, I am fucking loving it. And the fact that just knowing that the movie that's about to come out has that director and that cast makes me so fucking excited, because it is basically, it reads very, I wouldn't want to say simple, like the writing is very good, but the tone is that of a very poignant coming of age YA book where someone is trying to find their own in the world and trying to see where they stand in the world around them. They feel like an outcast, like an outsider. And in addition to that, there is cannibalism. So, and it just goes so well. And the movie stars, I think, Taylor Russell, Timothée Chalamet, Mark Rylance, directed by Luca Guadagnino. The director of Call Me By Your Name is directing a cannibal movie. So it's like, okay. I'm so excited. Like, if this book is amazing and the movie is just like the book, it will literally be my favorite movie of the year. Like, I am calling it.
Damn.
I finished Halloween Fiend, and it was good. The ending was very much, it was like kind of like a creep show episode a little bit, where it's like I was less horrified than I was expecting to be, and it was fine. Like, it was just fun. And then I did start For the Sake Of. I got like 11% of the way into it. That shit just starts. It's just, you're in it.
Yeah.
Like, right away.
The whole Bible thing.
And then he's like, okay, now cut your ear off. And I was like, what?
That first girl, that was Ashley in church. She brought her book into the holy place.
Literally, that book opens up with someone being told to wipe themselves with a page of
the Bible.
Yeah.
Gosh. Wow, that's crazy. Well, I'm like,
all of Judith's books really start off with a bang, especially the Clown Hunt. Like, that opening scene. Can I just? Hello?
That is the best prologue I've ever read in my life. They could make an entire horror movie just based on the prologue to that book.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, oh, we're just here now. Where she's like, okay, I've got this phone, I got this Polaroid, we're just waiting. I was like,
Haley, have you read Judith's other short story collection called Only Your God Can't Save You?
I bought it, but I haven't read it yet.
Dude, the first story in that book, I want a full book just on that. Like, it's called Innards Fuck. I want a full book just on that, honestly.
That is kind of giving Exquisite Corpse just by the name.
No, it's a snuff film short story.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, and it's called Innards Fuck. And like, literally, the plot twist at the end of that short story, I was like, I want the whole book. I want to know what happens after this twist. Like, Judith manifesting that she gets inspired to write like a whole thing.
well, I got 7 chapters into The Mother Next Door, and like I already said, it's delicious. Like, it's just like so reminiscent of Real Housewives, and like I'm just obsessed with that franchise. Like, it's actually a problem, but it's just like, it's your classic domestic thriller, and this is exactly what I needed after reading that other book. So I can't wait to get to the end. I feel like I'm gonna try to like finish it tonight. So I don't know. I guess I'll see.
Yay! No slumping for you.
Exactly.
I'm excited to start Hidden Pictures. Just finished Hidden Pictures. Back to back. Read 16 pages, loving. We have a massive community. I know. It's called something about bones.
Hold on, let me just pull up the picture of the cover. 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, I got it. It's called Bones and All by Camille DeAngelis. This is what the cover looks like on my copy, on my ebook.
It sounds awesome.
It's good. It's so good.
900 pages?
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pages.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Okay. I have 25 minutes for us to gab.
People in the chat ask us for recommendations, give us suggestions on what to talk about. Go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone wants specific recs? Apparently that's what we're doing today. So ask and you shall receive.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I can give you guys romance too. If there's any romance readers that are out there.
I like dark romance. Do you like dark romance?
I actually just was telling Haley and Courtney that I've read the first book in the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey. I just started that and like I'm hooked. So I don't know when I'm gonna actually get to reading the rest of the books because like I'm trying to get through my Haileyween TBR, but that's like all I've read. I read mafia romances before. I can't tell you which ones, but I have read some in the past, but I'm like trying to get more into it, but like it's so dark and intense sometimes that like it freaks me out. So
oh my gosh, have you heard of Hunting Adeline? That book is like,
I don't think I've heard of that one. No.
it has like a thriller subplot that is so fucking dark. I was like, this is borderline extreme horror.
I'm gonna look that up.
Okay, wait. You said you wanted to read There Are No Saints, right?
I have that. I want to read it. I did read that other book you told me about, The Sick Fucks. I read that book.
I hate it.
I gave it 3 stars. 3 stars. It was a solid 3 for me.
2.5. Yeah, it was fine. It wasn't great.
No, I mean, I loved the first half, but like in the parts where they were getting revenge, it just got repetitive and boring. So I was like, okay, it's a 3 star. Yeah.
Lily does not know how to write a kill scene. Like she really tried her best. Copied, paste over and over. But There Are No Saints. Come to me after you finish that one and kiss my feet. Because
I will.
You're thank me for that, right? Every single person that has read that one and messaged me after is like, that's the one.
Oh my gosh.
And because we're talking about it, it is very similar to Girl in 6E. Doesn't have any cam girl stuff, but it is like a self-aware serial killer who's trying to control themselves. It's 2 guys who are serial killers and they're rival artists in the San Francisco art scene. So they compete to the public with their art, but behind the scenes, they're competing to like see who can kill more people in more creative ways. And one of them is like horrible, stereotypical woman killer. And the other one is like kind of Dexter vibes, like takes out the bad guys, hates it about himself that he's a killer. Like change so bad. And so he ends up finding one of the other guy's victims and she's still hanging on to life and she wants revenge on him. So she teams up with the other broody serial killer and they kind of
Sounds good.
have a dark romance. It is so good. Also, the Mindfuck series is very similar.
I have a full vlog on the Mindfuck series, and that is a 5-star series. When I say it's a 5-star series, I say it's a 5-star series. Okay, goodbye. Thank you.
And that vlog is amazing. I love watching it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give it a watch for sure once I finally like get through the whole series. So we'll be watching that.
Thank you.
This is a crazy question. If you could only pick 5.
Yeah.
Mine is Night Film, Survivor, Killing Stalking, A Little Life. Oh, and probably I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Ooh, that's good. I mean, mine has to be Pretty Girls. Jar of Hearts. We Were Liars. Survivor, and It Happened One Summer.
Yes, It Happened One Summer. Love that.
Like the weirdest juxtaposition of books, but I love them.
I love that. I have so many. I would say, I guess, because I read, like I said, mostly thrillers and romance with like sprinkle of nonfiction, a sprinkle of classics. Like I really am, but like it's mostly romance and thrillers. So I would say It Happened One Summer for sure. It's like my favorite romance book of all time.
Same.
I love it so much. No Exit, because like, come on, hello. I would have to throw in another romance book, but like I honestly would say the entire Hoop series by Kennedy Ryan. Like I am on a Kennedy Ryan campaign and I'm trying to get everybody to read her books because she writes sports romance. She writes a lot of different romances, but she writes basketball sports romance. So like if you do like the Off-Campus series, then you more than likely will like Kennedy Ryan, but like she goes really deep with her books. Like it's not just like fluff and like smut. It's like you're going to learn like a lesson with like her books, especially the first one, which is called Long Shot, because there's like themes of domestic violence. Yes. Yep. That's it. Yeah, but that one is really, really heavy. That's the heaviest, I think, out of the series because there's like a lot of like intense graphic detail about domestic violence and things like that. So definitely look up trigger warnings for sure. But I would say that entire series is like part of my brand. So I'm gonna just group that as one. And then I would say like, ooh, this is hard. I would say probably an Angie Thomas book. So probably like The Hate U Give. That's like one of my favorite books as well. And then the last one I will say is, I'm going to say Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell because like, I love me some Lisa Jewell. So those are like that's like my brand.
Also, can I read?
Like romance. What do you think of Credence by Penelope Douglas?
So I have never read anything by Penelope Douglas before, but I want to give her a read. Like I want to try her books out for sure. I'm like planning like a few reading vlogs where I read like popular like book top romances, and she's definitely on that list. So.
We need to talk about it when you read Credence because
yes,
Kay and I are
that's on my list.
We are full haters of Credence.
Credence is another book that I reviewed whilst inebriated.
Another iconic video. I need to read for the public the like tagline on Long Shot because immediately I added it to my TBR.
Yes.
A forbidden love in the explosive world of the NBA. You think you know what it's like being a baller's girl? You don't. I want to be a baller's girl.
Yes, it's so good. And all of her synopsises are like that. Like if you look at Block Shot and Hook Shot, because I literally like have a whole shrine to her like dedicated right here. But if you read like all of them on the back, it has that whole like little like what's it called? Like not poem, but you know what I mean, Haley. Like it's like
yeah,
that.
The little like
yes,
the little thing that sucks you in.
Yes, it just sucks you in. But like the series is so good, and her writing is just like it's immaculate. So she's coming out with a new book, and like she's actually going on a little like book tour, and she's gonna be in New York with Tessa Bailey. So I'm like really debating on taking off from work and going because those are my girls.
I feel like for me, the 5 would be like Geek Love, Bunny, Notes on an Execution, probably like Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen Maria Machado. And I feel like, I don't know, like this question actually made me nervous, like trying to think of like the 5 that would be it for me.
Initially, that group, you know exactly who you are.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just like the kind of feministy, like
it is giving not
thriller,
like girls, not like girls, but in the best way. Like not in a cringe way.
I wish we got like more than 5 slots because if I was given like a 6 slot, like straight up to run a class, like literally, that would be like genuinely a part of my brand.
Greta, Wicked Beauty.
Wait, oh my god. Haley, you finish and then I will give one.
Wicked Beauty is everything. I love, love, love Katie Robert. Some of the best smut I've ever read in my life. I know BK gave Neon Gods one of my faves. 1 star. Listen, I don't care if it's not believable. I don't care if it's cheesy. I don't care. I just want those good scenes. That's all I care about. And
for the record, I gave Wicked Beauty 4 stars. Okay.
Okay, redeemed. I love Wicked Beauty. It is Achilles and Patroclus, but throw Helen in there. So like bisexual dreams.
Listen, okay, so Greta, you want threesome, you want smut. This book, Their Boy by Cara D. Okay, let me tell you this. It is male, 2 daddy doms, and 1 sub. Beautiful.
Also kind of giving Exquisite Corpse. I don't think it would be at the library since it's indie. I feel like it's hard to find at a library.
I would be scared to like look at my librarian when I picked it up if it was in there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. The hype for the dark romance. Yeah. Everyone needs to read that duology. It is so good. And something I didn't even mention, which was like my favorite part of the reading experience, is Sophie Lark made playlists that go with each book. And she tells you when to play what song, like while you're reading. So you'll get to the beginning of a chapter and it's like, play song number blah, blah from the playlist. So I was reading on my phone. I just switch over to Spotify, start playing it out loud. And it's literally like a movie as you're reading. She timed it out like where you're reading a line that says like, I walked in the party, I didn't nobody. And then the lyrics to the song are like, I knew no one. Like she just knew it. She knew how to do it. She was alive. I could talk about that book forever.
Yeah, Sophie Lark's on my TBR as well. I have so many romance authors and like popular ones, dark romance that are on my TBR. I don't know how I'm gonna get through them all.
Oh my god, no. I will never finish my TBR. Not in this life.
Same.
Just managed to do another 6 chapters. Oh my gosh. Putting the heater on, making a coffee. I am jealous of you, Scott. I want it to be cold. It is currently, I put on long sleeves, but it's currently 88 degrees. So I am.
Ew. Haley, we can switch because like it's a little chilly over here in Philly and we have the heat on. So let's switch. Okay.
We need to swap because I'm done with the heat and I am a delusional girl. Okay. I love to be delusional. So as soon as it turns fall in my brain, it turns fall in my atmosphere. Even if it's 90 degrees, I will sit there sweating in my long sleeves. Like,
my husband and I, we did our honeymoon in Austin. Like it was like October, November. We were there for Halloween. And I was like, I should not be experiencing chub rub right now. I was like, this is like, because I have like a Midwest, so like through and through. So I was like, why is it not cold? Why am I literally sweating balls right now?
Yeah, it is so humid. Like I had walking sessions this morning. My hair literally blew up like a balloon. I'm like, girl, this should not be the October vibe. Thank you, Isabel, for letting me know. I had no idea that.
I didn't know that either. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Just finished Mother Next Door. Love it. Yay. 61% into Terrified Women for the indie world. Terrified Women. Never heard of her.
I think that's Petrified Women because like yeah.
Period. Check my library and there's a different book called Mindfuck available, but not the series. Dang.
It's on Kindle Unlimited.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Even
I love oh my goodness, I'm so obsessed with KU. That changed my life. I feel like I wasn't as much of a horror girl until I got Kindle Unlimited, and now it's like all I read.
There's so much John Athan on KU.
I love it. Petrified Women. All right. That's on my TBR. I know Ruth loved that one, and I trust Ruth with my life. So
Ruth gave Survivor 5 stars. She is valid.
Yeah, she's obsessed with it. Like, she's just on our vibe. She knows. KU works. We love to see it. I just did a Kindle haul in my vlog that I posted this morning. I had never done one of those, and it was fun. I want more people to just go through their Kindle. Like, I was having fun watching myself in editing. So somebody else. Like, I feel like Kindle books, for me at least, I never think about it. It's always like a 2 a.m. All right, $3.99, I'll do it kind of purchase. And I never put those in hauls, but I would be so interested to see everyone else's 3 a.m. Kindle purchase.
Yes.
See, I still don't have a Kindle. I read from my iPad. I'm like so like boomer, I guess, with that compared to like everybody else. But like, I don't know.
You read everything on this.
Oh, you read on your phone? Gotcha. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I want a Kindle, but I'm just like, I don't want to spend that money because then I know my iPad's gonna go to waste because I literally don't use it for anything else except for e-reading. So
Fair.
I don't know.
I feel like they do this. Like, I feel like if you have that, like the Kindle does the same thing anyway.
Yeah, like the app works, I feel like, of course, on like the iPad, but I don't know. I just feel like it's still not as like expansive as like if I had the Kindle, unless I'm just using it wrong. That's also a possibility, like a huge possibility.
I like reading on my iPad just because you could see the covers in full color, where like Kindle, mine is black and white. So like you don't get the full
I just like reading on my phone because my Audible app is on here too, and I like to listen and read at the same time. And I just have this with me all the time, so it's just like, you know what, I'll just stick to this. That's me.
I used to be like that. I would only do it on my phone, and I was getting so distracted by notifications. That's the reason why I love the Kindle, is
just
that I get to down it all. Well, I'm always on Do Not Disturb, but then since I'm always on Do Not Disturb all the time, my friends are obnoxious as shit, and they will click notify anyway. Why are you notifying me? I don't want to be notified ever. I'm sorry.
I just do this. Just turn off the Wi-Fi.
I can't do that though, because if I do have a client emergency, I need to be able to look at it at least semi. Like, I need to be able to pull down and say
you're in the shower.
I'm not gonna lie to mental health. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out. We just had a little gab sesh. I feel like we barely read anything, but I'm fine with that. It was a good time. Yeah. I had never sprinted with Courtney or Taya, so thank you for taking a chance.
Thank you for having me.
This is like the best.
Courtney, I think we've been talking a lot on Instagram, and this is our first time talking. Hi,
yes, hi. Yeah, me too. I've never done like a YouTube live period before, so I was like literally so scared.
I know, it's very nerve-wracking to think like, oh, I'm just sitting on my couch, but like 57 people can see me. That is terrifying. But it's all the besties. I'm not afraid to block people from the chat. If there's a bot in here or an incel, they will block me.
And honestly, people who are new here in the chat, whenever Kaylee and I are on the live show together, chances are reading will not happen. Okay.
Yes, that is very true. The number one question I get when I have a new top tier patron join is they will message me and say, "Where is the link to you and McKay's private lives?" I'm like, girl, I'm sending to you immediately. Yay! I'm so glad y'all had fun. Get more reading done here than mine. Amazing. Well, we will be back on, or at least I will. Whoever wants to join me later tonight, we'll be sprinting again for the very last moments of Haileyween. And of course, we will be bringing some type of iteration of Haileyween back at some point, because this was just so much fun. I literally, my delusional self was like, no one's gonna read, it's just gonna be me. So it means a lot that y'all are actually participating. I had so much fun. It's not over yet, but we so much. So have a good rest of your afternoon, and I will see you tonight. Pick back up on the sprints. Bye.
Bye. Bye.